Time for that Week 6 waiver wire. What's going on, everyone? I'm Dustin. Welcome to Fantasy Smack Talk. As always, before we get into it, this is just a portion of the list. If you want to see the full list, get on the website. And if you got any questions, post them in our forums. Let's talk about the must-adds in all leagues. First guy, Zach Stacy. Only in about 20% of leagues right now. You know, the Rams kept us guessing all the way up until Sunday to figure out who the starting running back was going to be. It's Stacy's the guy. He did get hurt in the fourth quarter, but they're saying it wasn't a major injury, so they're saying he should be back Week 6 as their starter. So, not a ton of value there, but he does need to be added in all leagues because he does seem to be the best out of the mess that is the Rams. So, not a bad option for you if you're desperate for a running back, but he should be owned in all leagues. Same with Willis McGahee, only owned in about 50% of leagues at this point. Had a decent game last Thursday night. He's going to have even more rest to get ready for his Week 6 matchup. But the Browns' offense hasn't been nearly as bad as people thought it was going to be. You know, especially now with Hoyer out. You know, Whedon still looks decent. You know, Josh Gordon's been a nice boost to that offense. And McGahee looked pretty good last week, so pick him up. I mean, he's a starting running back. He should get 15 to 20 touches a game. Should get the goal lines. So I think he's a must-add in all leagues as well. Not really sure what happened with Pierre Thomas. That was kind of crazy what happened Week 5 with him. He kind of took over the Sproles role and had, I think, 9 catches. I think it was pretty crazy. Didn't really see that coming. Found the end zone 2 times. You know, it's always been kind of a mess out there with the running backs for the Saints, and it's even more of a mess now because you don't even know what to do with Sproles after his bad game. But Pierre Thomas, I doubt that performance will repeat itself. I'm not really sure what they were doing. They're just trying to keep the defense guessing on that, as far as not passing it to Sproles but passing it to Thomas. But I think he needs to be added in all leagues just in case they plan on getting Thomas more involved with the offense. A couple of must-adds in all leagues for receivers. Justin Blackmon, only on about 65% of leagues. If you were in one of the leagues where he was available, you're probably kicking yourself for not picking him up before Sunday's games. Now you're going to have to fight with everyone else to try to get him. Use your number one waiver. Do what it takes to get him on your team. You know, even if you just need a plug-in for Week 6. He's got a huge upside going up against Denver. They're going to be playing from behind early, throwing the ball a ton. You know, I know the quarterback situation is a mess out there, but Blackmon has potential to overcome that and be a big fantasy player for you. So he needs to be added in all leagues. Alshon Jeffrey. I had him in my write-up last week as a must-add in deeper leagues. He needs to be a must-add in all leagues at this point. That was ridiculous what he did. Great game. And obviously, you know, one of the reasons he's having such a big season is because so much attention gets put on Marshall, and that leaves Jeffrey open with single coverage. That's going to keep happening all year, so he needs to be added in all leagues at this point as well. Deeper leagues, couple running backs for you. Andre Ellington, I've been talking about him a lot over the last few weeks, and I still think he needs to be owned in more leagues. Only 25% of leagues right now. Now, their coach, Arian, did come out and say that he thinks he's only a 30 to 35 snap count guy. He doesn't like his body type as far as being able to handle the load. But if he keeps outplaying Mendenhall like he is, Arian's going to have to put him on the field because this guy has been amazing. He's been killing Mendenhall as far as yards per carry. He's involved in the passing game. I think Ellington needs to be owned in a lot more leagues. If Mendenhall goes down, I think they will give Ellington more snaps. Roy Halou Jr. is another guy I think should be added in deeper leagues, only under 15% of leagues right now. Here's why. He's one of the best handcuffs in the league. Morris did get banged up Week 4. You know, he should be completely healthy after their bye heading into Week 6. But sometimes towards the middle of the year, once players start getting banged up, it's just one injury after another, and they might end up missing a couple of games. And if you got Halou on your bench and Morris ends up missing a couple games, he's going to be a very high upside plug-in for you. So I think Halou, as far as having some running back depth on your bench, is a great guy to add, and just see if Morris stays healthy. Next, Keenan Allen, a receiver for you I wanted to talk about, only on about 40% of leagues. The Chargers have to throw the ball to the receivers at some point, and they have been getting Allen a little bit more involved as of late. You know, Vincent Brown had a decent game. They can't just keep throwing to the running backs into Gates. So look for these young receivers to keep getting more and more involved. Rivers looks to be back to be somewhat like his old self. And I think Keenan Allen could end up being better than Brown as far as the receivers go. And I think he does have a high upside. Should be added in deeper leagues. Same with Ruben Randall, only on about 40% of leagues. The Giants, they're 0-5. I mean, at this point, you have to be looking at Nick's at his point in his career and what he's going to bring to the Giants in the future and what Randall could bring to the Giants in the future. I think we might start seeing a little bit of the changing of the guards here. I think Nick's might give them a better chance to win right now if he's healthy, but that's a big if for him to even stay healthy. I think that the Giants are going to find ways to get Randall more involved, and he needs to be added in more leagues. I doubt he'll have too many games like he just had week 5, but he's still a very talented receiver, and if he gets chances to play out on the field, he's going to put up stats. IDP player for you, Darryl Washington. I talked about him last week, and look at what he did. He had an amazing game. I think he ended up getting about 15 points in a standard IDP league. You gotta love that for Washington. He's just a ball hawk. Every time you look at the guy after he gets tackled, he's either in on the tackle or right next to the guys tackling him. He's always around the ball, always getting you fancy points. I love him as an IDP player. One pick up and play quarterback for you, and that's Alex Smith. He's only on about 60% of leagues right now. He's got a matchup against the Raiders week 6. I think the Raiders D is decent, but I think Alex Smith can do something against that defense and put up some fancy points for you. He's been a little bit up and down this year, but he's had some good weeks, and I love what Alex Smith has been doing with his legs. He's been getting a lot more rushing yards than people might have thought he would, and I do think he has a decent upside if you're desperate for a quarterback. And my pick up and play defense for this week is the Jets going up against the Steelers. I know the Steelers are coming off their bye. They might be a little bit more fresh than they have been, but the Jets have been one of the better teams as far as getting sacks. The Steelers have been one of the worst teams as far as giving up sacks, so I think something's going to give there. I think the Jets will at least get some pressure on Roethlisberger, maybe force a turnover or two, and get some sacks. So that's the list for this week. As always, get in those forums if you got any questions, and Brett and I will see you later this week.